Bush v Schiavo, September 23rd, 2004. On February 25th, 1990, 27-year-old Terry Schiavo collapsed and was resuscitated because of a lack of oxygen to her brain. Terry had a lot of brain damage. Michael Schiavo, Terry's husband, was appointed by the court to be her legal guardian. Her parents, Robert and Mary, did not disagree with the guardianship at this time. Between 1991 to 1993, Terry lived in a rehabilitation facility where she was on a feeding tube and had nurses taking care of her. During this time, Michael, her husband, sued her doctor for not realizing that she had an eating disorder. Michael and Terry were awarded over $1.5 million. Part of the money was put toward a trust fund for Terry's health care. In 1993, Terry's parents challenged for guardianship after they found it. In 1998, Michael and his attorney filed a petition for the Sixth Circuit Court of Florida to withdraw life support. Terry's parents fought the petition. In 2000, the courts heard the plea to withdraw life support again. After Terry's parents failed to get guardianship of her, on October 15, 2003, Terry's feeding tube was removed, and Terry's parents requested help from Governor Jeb Bush. On October 21st, Governor Jeb Bush issued Executive Order Number 03201 to stay the continued withholding of nutrition and hydration from Teresa. This act is known as Terry's Law. The nutrition and hydration tubes were reinserted according to Governor's executive orders. On May 6, 2004, the Circuit Court entered the final summary judgment in favor of Michael Schiavo, finding the act unconstitutional. On March 18, 2005, Terry's feeding tube was removed, and subsequently, on March 31, 2005, Terry Schiavo died. After Governor Jeb Bush got Terry's Law passed that gave him the authority to order Terry's feeding tubes be reinserted, the Supreme Court decided that this was unconstitutional, according to Bush v Schiavo, 2005. One important legal issue raised in the case is guardianship between Terry's husband and her parents. Another important legal issue is that the legislature enacted the law giving the governor the power to reinsert the feeding tubes in which the court had given another person the power to remove. The legal principle the court used for the decision was that they needed to follow the law and not follow their hearts. Another legal principle the courts used for their decision is that Governor Jeb Bush should not overturn the decision to take the feeding tubes out. A decision was made to remove Terry's feeding tubes, and the governor passed an act that reversed the judgment. He used his authority to change the decision. That act is unconstitutional because it encroaches on the power and authority of the judicial branch. When the Florida legislature passed a bill known as Terry's Law, this law trumped the ruling on removing Terry Schiavo's feeding tubes. Then Judge Baird of the Sixth Circuit Court ruled Terry's Law was unconstitutional. The Florida Supreme Court agreed. At the time, President Bush stated, "In cases like this one, where there are serious questions and substantial doubts on society, our laws, our courts should have presumption in favor of life. This presumption is especially critical for those like Terry Schiavo, whose lives are at the mercy of others." The majority ruled that Michael Schiavo was a legal guardian and that he has the right to withdraw life support from his vegetative wife. Governor Bush drew up a new act, Terry's Law, so that Schiavo didn't have the power to remove his vegetative wife's feeding tube. The act stated the governor may revoke and stay upon the finding that a change in the condition of the patient warrants revocation. Courts found that the act did not give clear explanation on what is considered a change of condition of the patient. The consequence of this decision was Terry's feeding tube was removed on October 15, 2003, and reinserted on October 21st, 2003, after Governor Bush passed an act based on Terry's situation. After the Florida Supreme Court reviewed the act and found it unconstitutional, the decision was put in place to remove Terry's feeding tube on March 18, 2005. She died 14 days after the feeding tube was removed. If I were a Supreme Court justice and I had to rule on this case, I would have ruled in favor of Michael Schiavo. It is a sad situation and you feel for Terry's parents, but you have to put your emotions aside and follow the law.